I'm Tracy Hall.
Hello, I'm William Hall.
And we're here to share with you some of our story.
Today we want to try to share some of our thoughts and share a little bit about our journey to the transplant. About 4 years ago, I think, right? Maybe I started really having some health issues. Maybe a little before that, but I had some health issues and I wasn't feeling well. And my doctor noticed that my creatinine levels were higher than he would like. So he sent me to check the blood work and get a test done. And we found out that I had a tumor on one of my kidneys. And that was the start of my journey. So I had an operation to remove it. It was benign, it was not cancerous. But my kidney function started to decline. So as that started to decline, I felt myself becoming a little bit more depressed. I was gaining a whole lot more weight and I just was not as active because I didn't have the energy. So I decided, and with my wife's help and my family's help, I decided to just try to focus on being positive and focus on what I could control. And I can tell you that was the biggest thing for me, because all my healthcare workers, people at U of M system, were telling me that I could be a good candidate for transplant. So I started to just mentally get myself in that place, thinking that one day I might have the opportunity to become a transplant recipient. So I was on dialysis for about 2 years. I did hemodialysis for a year, and then I did peritoneal. The hemodialysis kind of was very restrictive for me. I had to go 3 days a week, as maybe some of you are doing it right now, and it also drained me after my sessions. I would be kind of drained, so I really had to cut my work down tremendously. So I became a candidate for peritoneal, and I went to the peritoneal system, which was a lot better for me because I could treat myself during the evening, and then I'd have my days free. However, there was still the physical restrictions of fluids and a little bit more fluids, but I just wasn't feeling great. It was harder for me to, do my normal activities, lose weight, exercise, all that kind of stuff. So we got to a place where we wanted to test. I'll get myself listed for a transplant. Tracy and I went to the University of Michigan Medical Center, the hospital, to get ourselves evaluated to see if I would be a good candidate for a transplant. And I'm going to turn it over to Tracy, because I think she'll be a little better at explaining this process for you, and then I'll just close it out with a few thoughts after she tells you a little bit about what happened when we went up to the transplant part of the story.
So in the summer of 2018, William and I went out to UM Medicine to attend one of the transplant clinics, day-long experiences, to learn about getting William listed for the transplant process. It was during that session that I listened intently and learned that living donors, those kidneys last a lot longer than deceased donor kidneys, and more importantly, the time that you spend on the donor list can be much shorter if you can identify a live donor. And so it was at that point that we started thinking about who we could identify as potential donors in our family circles or in our friendship circles who might be willing to consider donating a kidney to William. By the end of that first session with William, we had a list of things that we knew he needed to do in order to prepare himself to be listed. And then we started talking about the fact that we could attend a day-long session for prospective donors and learn more about that process. So I offered that I would go with the expectation that what I'd really be doing is be learning about the process so that I could share that with other folks. Kind of assuming, or actually assuming, that I wouldn't be eligible as a donor, knowing the odds were pretty large.
At least we thought
the odds were
right.
pretty going to be against that. We spent the day at the living donor transplant orientation, and as that day progressed, I realized that if I was healthy enough, I could at least test for the prospect of being a paired donor. And that would spare us having to ask our children or other relatives. So I began thinking about the fact that I could be a donor. Probably not to him, but to at least someone in a system that then could have a kidney that would fit for him. After a couple of months of tests and blood evaluation and tissue matching and processes like that, I got a phone call one day, unexpected, from the medicine systems. I answered the phone and someone said, "Guess what? You're a direct match to your husband." Well, we've since found out the odds were about 1 in 20, or only 5% chance that we'd be direct matches. But that accelerated a process over the next 5 or 6 months. We got William officially listed. I finished up what other healthcare issues we needed to do in order to get us prepared for a transplant. And a year ago, April 12th, we entered Michigan and successfully had a 3-day experience in the hospital together. We shared a room, and my kidney went into him, and well, you tell them what the results were.
Well, here I am, standing, and my life is returned to me. That's the best way that I could put it. If you are considering having a transplant, my experience is one that I can just say it's an overwhelming feeling to come from what I felt to where I am today. The biggest challenges for me during the whole process was maintaining my mental health. And I would just encourage anyone to try to be as positive as you can. And I know it can be difficult because it was for me. But be around positive people. Listen to positive things. Put positive energy in you. The University of Michigan staff throughout this whole process has been outstanding for me. I can't speak highly enough. It's one of the reasons why we're doing this video now, is to pay back those folks who work diligently to keep me uplifted in some dark times for me. So all I can say is the process was tremendous. My wife and the staff there saved my life, and I will do what I can to give back. And I hope this helps someone in the process.
And just in case you're wondering, the process for me was really, really fairly simple. Overall, there has been no change in my own health. I feel completely normal. I was a little tired the first month, but after that, it was a complete return to work and exercise and all the other things that I'd like to do in my life. So, to reach us or any other recipient or living donor peer mentors, you can call or email transplantoutreach@umich.edu, transplantoutreach@umich.edu, or download the University of Michigan Kidney Transplant Education app on Apple or Android devices. Thank you. We hope this has been helpful to you.
Be safe. Peace.